This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our Standing Watch program. We had hoped that some of our freedoms would have been restored, maybe by the beginning of this month, but it wasn't supposed to be. And now the restrictions are ongoing, and really nobody knows how long we will be sitting at home, arrested, even though we are the innocent people, not being able to do what we normally would like to do. And the reactions have already become quite explosive in certain areas of the country. You probably heard about the clash between people who were celebrating the birthday of a 1-year-old child in Los Angeles and the police coming in to try to suspend and break up the party. And there are many more situations we hear about all over the country now where there are clashes between people who become frustrated with these restrictions and the police and the governments. And this morning I listened to an interview on Fox News where a former police officer said the police got to be extremely careful, because if they are not careful enough, this could lead to social unrest. I would like to add civil war. I'd like to talk about one aspect today which is a little bit overlooked in the mass media, but it's an important one. It has to do with religious freedom and religious liberties and the right, the constitutional right to assemble for religious purposes and worship purposes. Now, some pastors, you might have heard that, have clearly defied those orders telling them they can't do it. Here's one by CNN, dated March 30, and this happened in Florida. Rodney Howard-Browne, a Tampa Bay area pastor, has been arrested following 2 large services at his church over the weekend. He has been charged with 2 counts: unlawful assembly and a violation of health emergency rules. But one of the attorneys for the pastor issued a statement challenging the logic of the county stay-at-home order and saying the River Church took extra health precautions for its services Sunday. The actions of the country and the county sheriff are discriminatory against religion and church gatherings, the attorney said. The church claims that closure orders violate religious freedom. By what authority does the government declare the church non-essential? The church is a place where people turn for help and for comfort in a climate of fear and uncertainty. In a time of crisis, people are fearful and in need of comfort and community more than ever before, the church said. Now, the media did report, those who did, that Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne surrendered voluntarily to the police when he heard that a warrant for his arrest had been issued, and after posting bail in the amount of $500, he was released within an hour. Now that is Florida. Now another example from Maryland. The Baltimore Sun wrote on March 31. A prominent pastor is vowing to hold worship services this Sunday and beyond after Baltimore police tried to shut down a service at his church. Alvin Gwynn Sr. said he was delivering a sermon Sunday to 10 worshipers when 4 police cars containing 8 or 9 officers pulled up in front of the Friendship Baptist Church and several tried to enter the building. You should have seen it. Man, it looked like a police raid on a drug deal, the pastor said. Gwynn, who is 74, also serves as president of a group that includes the leaders of more than 50 churches. A lot of churches are being involved here. He goes on to say, a police spokeswoman said officers were responding to a report of a gathering in violation of the governor's orders. Gwynne argued that under the Bill of Rights, the government cannot restrict either the size of gatherings for worship or a citizen's right to attend a service. The governor's order requires all those living in Maryland to stay home, unless it's to participate in essential activities, regardless of the size of the gathering. But Gwynne pointed to a 2018 federal directive that appears to contradict Governor Hogan's decision to classify churches as non-essential. In June of that year, the CDC issued guidelines saying this: the collaboration of faith-based agencies with public health agencies will be essential in protecting the public's health and safety if and when an influenza pandemic occurs, it reads. So in complete total contradiction to those restrictions by governors saying church services are non-essential. That's not enough. I want to give you another example, this time from Louisiana. CBS News reported on April 1. Buses and cars filled a Louisiana church parking lot for service Tuesday evening, as worshippers flocked to hear a Louisiana pastor who is facing misdemeanor charges for holding services despite a ban on gatherings. And of course, a few protesters turned out too. And in so many cases, when these kind of controversies exist, the left-wing radicals will show up in order to create trouble. That's always the case. We can expect that. It goes on to say here in the article that Pastor Tony Spell compared going to church to going to the hospital, but for spiritual healing. Spell pointed this out on Facebook. This is a government overreach. They are asking us to stop practicing our freedom of religion. And we have a mandate from God to assemble and to gather together and to keep doing what we are doing. Let me just tell you, my friends, this is just one area, one example, in this case having to do with religious liberties and freedom, but it's an area which will boil over soon. This is happening in the United States of America, a country which was founded and built on religious freedom from persecution. As you will recall, people came from the United Kingdom to settle here in the United States because they were fleeing persecution because of their religious beliefs. This is not an easy thing, to just limit and totally destroy the right to worship, which in effect that is what is being attempted to do. And as more and more church services will be conducted in open and sometimes provocative defiance of any order by state governments, this is going to be a huge, huge problem. To enforce such orders might prove to be extremely counterproductive. Politicians need to be aware of the fact that they are in need of the votes and the support of evangelicals. And evangelicals might not be too happy when they see how the governments, state governments, even perhaps the federal government, is coming in with a heavy hand to try to destroy their right, their constitutional right of worship. So this is going to be extremely volatile, also for the fact that there will be, chances are, demonstrations, counter-demonstrations. I don't think that church-goers necessarily will resort to violence, but protesters might come and do just that. And then the police is being asked to intervene. Are we going to see, and this is just one example, a situation where we will have civil unrest, social unrest, civil war perhaps? You know the very important saying by Abraham Lincoln, where he said, this country will not be destroyed, at least not to begin with, by outside forces, but we can do it ourselves. We can destroy it from the inside. I believe that that is what we are doing right now. And then an outside force will come and take over. And that is clearly prophesied. If you want to know more about what the Bible has to say about what we are experiencing right now and where it is leading, I encourage you to write for our free booklet the fall and rise of Britain and America. Let me just tell you that the financial disaster which we have brought upon ourselves is incurable. We will never be able to recuperate. The United Kingdom will never be able to recuperate. And that's just one aspect. You have also people who are suicidal now, who are living in depression, who are extremely angry about the restrictions imposed upon them. Now, you don't hear that too much in the mass media because they want you to understand that everything is fine and we are doing the right thing, and don't blame the governors and the government because they are doing what needs to be done. And people are happy with what's happening. No, that's not the case at all, if you look a little bit and dig a little bit deeper. So again, I would encourage you to write for this free booklet and to read it. The Fall and Rise of Britain and America. Britain and America will rise again. Right now they are falling. Very much so. The downfall is there, no question about it. They will rise again. But they will only rise after the return of Jesus Christ, not prior to that. Thank you for watching. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.